everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the first season of the anime Dorohedoro on Netflix. And this was kind of a strange anime. I didn't outright hate it, but there were problems with it that kind of prevented me from fully enjoying it as I would have liked. Because the premise is, we learn that this dude, Kaiman, who's got a lizard head, and he's trying to find the sorcerer who gave him this lizard head. I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Thing is, it falls into an episodic kind of territory of first dealing with like Kaiman and like his people in this place called the Hole, which is kind of like a post-apocalyptic weird place where humans usually dwell, and then the sorcerer's world, where the sorcerers come from, and they come in and they practice their magic on the people in the Hole, so it has led to anti-sorcerer resentment there. And it just kind of flip-flops between Kaiman and this dude N and his kind of family of weird kind of sorcerers over in the sorcerer world. Now, my biggest kind of problem is, okay, it's got its potential and everything, and it's got a really interesting world and lore. It has not really communicated that effectively here. Now, granted, I don't need everything in the kitchen sink all at once. I don't want to go in and have the information just shit on me like a fucking brick house. But we get weird, odd and tidbits thrown here and there. We've got, evidently, there's devils and contracts in the sorcerer world. Evidently, there's toilets connected to hell. Demon people or whatnot eat people and send them into hell. Granted, these are bits and pieces that like pop in towards the later end of the series, but they're pertinent examples. The Whole is really affected by the sorcerer's magic to the point that the rain does some weird kind of shit and sorcerers don't really like it. And there's like a Day of the Living Dead kind of thing, which granted was a pretty interesting episodic thing where we see that Kaiman and his friend Nikaido, who's an important kind of character, go around and like hunt zombies and shit. So, the beginning of this is showing Kaiman and his friend Nikaido fighting these sorcerers, and evidently in order to find out who changed his head, he has to put sorcerers' heads in his mouth, and a dude will talk to them. Okay, granted, that isn't much of a problem, but you kind of need more of an explanation as you go on, and we kind of get one, but it's not. It's told in such a weird kind of haphazardous way that it's kind of really hard to follow. And we find out that they do find the dude in his mouth, but we don't really get much information other than he's the dude in his mouth, and there's a reason for that. Okay? What? Alright. But he found this one dude, he said it wasn't him, killed the dude. Evidently these sorcerers partner up and form devil's contracts, and this dude's last act was to send his partner back to the sorcerer world, and Nikaido wasn't able to kind of save him. So we get a couple episodes in the beginning where we see Kaiman doing his thing, learning that he's really into gyoza, which is a specialty that Nikaido does as she runs her restaurant and everything, usually bringing him food and everything. And they're really kind of friendly. And evidently she had found like a headless corpse and in this alleyway, and that's where Kaiman's usually got his memories of what was going on, but he doesn't know what happened with his head. And he works at a hospital for people that are fucked up by sorcerers and everything, and that's kind of interesting seeing their interactions and everything. Kaiman I don't have a problem with. They really have a slower burn job on really presenting his character and everything. I almost would have really rather have seen Nikaido be more of the main character. Now granted, she is more prominent and everything, we learn more shit with her. I'm like, yeah, she's pretty cool, because she does a lot of martial arts kind of stuff, and as the series progresses, we learn that she is a sorcerer as well. Her magic dealing with time, and that's an important thing that N wants. He wants his partner to have that time power. It takes a little bit for us to learn why he wants the time power she has, but we get to that eventually. But we see them go through their hijinks, trying to find stuff in the hole and everything, and they're like, you know what, we kind of have to go to this. It gets to a point where like, we might have to look in the sorcerer world for this. And lo and behold, a professor dude has taken corpses of sorcerers and made a door that's able to go to the sorcerer world. It's like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Also, he is like 60 and looks fucking like 20-something because he lets this one sorcerer dude just kind of fucking experiment on him. And he's like, yeah, fine, whatever, I don't give a shit. So, okay. So they go in the world. Nikaido's, of course, leery of doing it and kind of didn't want to go back there because of bad memories or whatnot. We don't get a full explanation of that. So, alright. Again, could be slow burn, but I'm like, that would be an important thing. So, they're going through, they're unable to really find that much as they, like, go back to the hole and everything to have to kind of deal with everything going on there. Because they kind of get stymied. They're like, okay, we can't really find this person. We're trying to find these cross-eyed people because he's got those cross eyes as well. We see that Nikaido talks to a devil person who she used to know. It's like, what the fuck? And granted, I don't need to know everything off the bat, but it's like, okay, sometimes you need to kind of show and tell and do a little bit more of what's going on and be like, okay, it is a delicate balancing act. Not that this one kind of doesn't get it completely right, but it hits more than it misses. And while this is going on, we see that En has decided to get his cleaners involved of Shin and Noe to go after the lizard head dude and Nikaido. They had fought in the hole at one point, and they pretty much got really fucked up. They actually chopped off Kaiman's head at one point, but he somehow got it back. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Because there's a fucking one of his heads in a vat. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? And the thing is, it was pretty much a stalemate kind of thing, but then we kind of back and forth between Kaiman and Nikaido and En and everything like that. We see Shin and Noi's backstory, which was pretty cool. I kind of like that because we see that Shin was like a half sorcerer, half human person that was previously in the hole, and of course there was a lot of anti-sorcerer sentiment, and they killed his mother. They were going to come after him and his father, and they beat the shit out of his father, and he fucking went off on them and decided to go to the hospital, chop off his arms to get at the smoke ducts, which are how sorcerers have their power. Okay. And then he's able to use his magic and everything, which of course we see throughout. He's able to, how do I put it? Could use JoJo's as an example. He can chop people up and they will still be alive. We see Kaiman had to deal with that kind of incident where there's a dude in a body. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna chop up. Can you like kill my ass? Throws him in a furnace. He's like, yeah, no problems. And he can do that, and of course, En is trying to look into the cross-eyes people. And we find out that the dude in Kaiman's mouth is named Risu. They actually found his head. He was able to find like a dude, a magical being that was able to bring people back from the dead. So they revived the head, give it like a robot body, and try and figure out what's going on. Granted, he just pretty much goes around and everything. Noe has an accident where she was pretty much trying to be captured by this dude to become a partner, because she was eventually going to do training to be a devil, but it got to a point where her and Shin, in their backstory, Shin was pretty much fucked up trying to save her, and she decided to use her magic, which she was prohibited from using, in order to become a devil to save his life. And she had also fixed his arms because he was gotten into the sorcerer's realm, and he had just rotted arms because of what he had done to get to the smoke ducts, and she was able to heal him. And I really like their dynamic. Granted, they do fucked up shit, and it's really kind of strange because the only one that I would term being really good is Nikaido, because she doesn't really want to hurt people or anything. Granted, Shin and Noe are doing their job and all that, and they seem like nice and good enough people. Kaiman even runs into other kind of sorcerers in the world, mainly this pie shop place that has pretty nice people as well. So it's not an all kind of thing. I kind of like that it's not as clear cut, and we learned that En and his family have been fighting to have a better life for sorcerers because he was used pretty much for his black smoke, and he could turn people into mushrooms. And evidently he used that and even was able to get out of hell. I was like, man, he's strong as shit because he was just turning shit into mushrooms. And at one point, while he gets to a point where he's like making a better kind of place, but then he starts losing people because their heads are getting chopped off. So like, what the fuck's going on? And evidently it's connected to Kaiman and Risu and all that. And he gets to a place. Shin and Noe were pretty much fucked up by this dude. They chopped off his head, and he went through a door. And that's why En wants the time traveling magic to find out what the fuck's going on with that shit. It's like, oh, that's interesting, and I kind of am alright with that goal, but the issue gets into the effect that they capture Nikaido at one point, and he forces her into a devil's contract, which he's able to then have control over her, and I'm like, that's fucked up, okay? That ain't cool, man. No. And of course, Kaiman tries to go and rescue her, but she, of course, is under the spell of the contract, which, by the way, was pretty disgusting with, like, how the devils, like, reached into the people and they, like, signed the contracts and placed them out. I'm like, it was cool lore and world building. I'm like, holy fuck. But, of course, how is Kaiman going to have to deal with that? He pretty much gets into a fight with her and she's, like, holding nothing back. And at some point, someone pops up, stabs her, and her friend is able to kind of get the contract out and heal her and send them out of a way so that way they don't get captured by N again. And they're still in the Sorcerer World, but they kind of like hunker down and be like, yeah, we're friends forever, man. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. And that's where it ends. The thing is, 12 episodes I don't feel was the right length to do what needed to be done here. It felt kind of faster paced and kind of rushed with what was going on. 24 episodes I think would have been a better thing on like handling Kaiman and Nikaido stuff for like 12 episodes and potentially having it off with N and his kind of family and everything like that, because we also get the Vegeta kind of dude. Yes, it does sound like Vegeta, because that was the one dude in the beginning who lost his partner. This Ebisu chick who is dealing with the reptilian magic, which we find out is linked up to Kaiman's head, but not in the way we would think, because she's been selling her smoke, and evidently that's a thing. It kind of goes all over the place. And now, granted, I don't need it to be done in a certain kind of order, but when you're getting random bits and you're trying to, like, make them fit into puzzle pieces while you're getting other puzzle pieces at the same time, it kind of makes for a kind of messier kind of experience. Not that this is shit by any means. I would recommend anybody to really watch it because it's really interesting stylistically. The animation style is kind of cool. Now, granted, it does flip-flop back and forth between 2D animation and 3D animation a little bit more than I would like, but neither is shit and neither is really jarring when it does its shift. If that makes kind of sense. The best part that I really like is the beginning, the opening for it. It just is the craziest fucking thing, and I just kind of love the music that's down with it. Endings are pretty good too, but nothing that kind of handles what's going on with the beginning. Characters are pretty interesting because they do get kind of fleshed out. Now, granted, there's a lot of them, so it kind of dilutes to a purpose of you've got all these kind of ones, so you have to, like, figure out who's going to get the most time at what point. But there wasn't a character that I looked at that I outright was like, this is a piece of cardboard. No, there are certain, like, supporting characters, but they have their own kind of little idiosyncrasies and everything. So let's see. Action, pretty good action scenes. I do like what they did there. Characters, I like the characters. Interesting kind of world. It's just, I think it needed more lore building, more world building, and have a better kind of pacing for what was going on, and to have a kind of cleaner focus on who we needed to get at to first to understand what was going on. Because I understand that Kaiman and his central mystery is the kind of crux of Dorohedoro, but that gets almost the least amount of time other than introducing it. I don't mind mysteries, but you got to watch out for the mystery box kind of MacGuffin kind of thing where you just leave it kind of there until you need to come up with some kind of answer to it. I don't think that's going to happen here, but I'm just kind of like, it was really kind of weird. I don't hate this anime, but I would also think that there's other improvements that need to be done with how the storytelling kind of went for this. Because the characters are pretty cool, the world is pretty cool, and I would just like to learn more about them in ways that aren't kind of just weirdly put together. So hopefully this does get a second season that kind of like irons out that kind of stuff as we actually get more movement along the central mystery of what's going on in the show and all that kind of stuff. So those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.